Moikka ja tervetuloa takaisin mun Tube-kanavalle. Tänään ollaan messuilla Dry Agerin kanssa ja tästä nyt ehkä semmonen mielenkiintoinen video sinänsä, että yritetään päästä mahdollisimman syvälle Dry Agein maailmaan, koska se on kuitenkin asia, mitä mä oon tehnyt paljon aikaisemmin, mutta siitä ei ole välttämättä puhuttu, että mitä on Dry Age, mitä on se kaikki meininki siinä ympärillä, mitä täällä kaapissa tapahtuu, kun näitä lihoja on. Niin siitä on tänään puhumassa Rene Kuukkanen Kivijalka Butcherysta sekä Ronny tuolta Dry Agerin päästä. Kaksi täydellisen ammattilaista, rautasta sellaista. Ja katsotaan mitä. Mä pistän niille muutaman hyvän kysymyksen ja annetaan sen puhevaa soljua ja katsotaan, että kuinka hyvää settiä me saadaan niiden kanssa aikaiseksi. Nyt pidemmittä puhetta, niin päästetään jätkät ääneen. Mä hyppään tässä kohtaa pois täältä, koska mulla sitä tietoa ei ole niin paljon kuin niillä, niin annetaan niiden ammattilaisten puhua. Niin mennään katsomaan, minkälainen keskustelu me saadaan aikaiseksi.
Okay, so now we are here with Rene and Ronny. Could you introduce yourselves a little bit for the audience?
Rene, you first.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hi you all, I'm Rene, I'm from Kivijalka Butchery and I'm representing Dry Ager on behalf of Vakuumikauppa. And we sell Dry Ager cabinets here in Finland. I also cut meat, high quality Finnish meats, and sell fair amounts of dry aged meat, and that's why I'm here, and I hope I can answer some of your questions.
And also you educate people in stores and everywhere else how to use the Dry Ager cabinets.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Ronny.
Hello, my name is Ronny Paulusch. I'm from Germany. I'm a meat sommelier there and also a teacher in different butcher schools in Germany, Austria and Switzerland. I work together with Vakuumikauppa for now 4 or 5 years. I'm here in Finland now for the first time. I really enjoy it. And today I'm here to discuss with Rene a little bit about the way of dry aging, what does dry aging mean and how to do it best.
Okay, good. So, what is dry aging and what is the process of dry aging and also why we do it?
To say it in some simple words, it's a very old tradition of butchery. So even our grandfathers did it this way, but they don't have the possibilities which we now have these days because of the cooling, because of the hygienic, all these things which we now can do with the dry ager, with the new technique, they can do in the past. But now the dry ager gives us a possibility to exceed this process, to make everything smoother, better and more comfortable.
Yeah, because the problem has been about the hygiene. It's always have been about how to maintain the meat in edible form for longer periods of time. And with dry ager, you only put the wanted pieces and the rest you can process in a different manner, which is not the best for a dry age cabinet. So you take the good pieces and do the long process for those. So that's the key and I think the best thing about the dry age cabinets.
Okay, good. So what happens to the meat or the fish or anything else that you like to put in the dry ager? So what is the process?
Generally, you have to say the majoring process happens in 2 different phases. The phase 1 is when it's slaughtered. You get the rigor mortis, where everything is it's not soft, it's not really tasty. There's no good taste to it. And after that, it starts slowly to getting more tenderness and to get more taste. And this process took a while. So on average, you have to say it needs 21 days to get its maximum tenderness. And after that, the flavor comes to it, which decides the dry aged beef from a regular piece of beef. And for this process, you need 28 days till it starts to proceed with the aromatics.
Okay, great. So what are the benefits of dry aging, like flavor-wise? Because I always say that this meat or that one has a dry age taste. So what is the taste?
I think that is a good way to say it, because it's hard to tell it in one word.
Yeah,
How dry
absolutely.
aging, because it's I think it's like a flavor palette. It's a combine of different flavors in a kind of it's umami. It's a nutty flavor. It's intense flavor. It's all of those flavors. So that's why I think that the word dry age flavor is, I think it's really good. Way to say it.
Yes, and the typical dry age flavor comes out not before 28 days. So every piece of meat with such measures for 3 to 4 weeks has a very good taste. It has a typical beef taste as we know it for a long time. But the dry age flavor, or this typical dry age taste, starts to evolve with 28 days, and it's getting stronger and stronger the longer you keep it in the dry age, or the longer the meat has time to mature.
Yeah. Okay, so how long can you keep the meat in there? Because you had some really old meat. But how long?
Yes, you can keep it in the dry age for 2 years, of course. Nothing will happen to the meat, and you still could eat it, but it's not much left, and it's very strong. It has a very heavy aromatics in it. So the normal thing for a good piece of dry aged meat, I would say, is 6 to 8 weeks.
Yeah, I think that the 30 days is a minimum. That's where you get a distinctive flavor, you get the tenderness, but then 6-8 weeks, that is good. 60-90 days,
Yeah.
that is really good.
Okay, so for the second question, I thought I asked that what has a dry ager as a company done to the dry aging culture and everything as for the homeowners and restaurants?
They gave them the possibility to make good meat even better, to get more tenderness in it, to get a special flavor in it, and to lift the whole steak piece on a completely new level.
And I think that what they did was that they made it possible for everyday person to get this quality at home. And what they also did was that every restaurants and supermarkets, they were able to provide it easily and effectively to the customers. So they made a lot.
Okay, so how long has Dry Ager produced? These are the new S-type cabinets, but how
Yes.
long have they produced these cabinets for consumers and restaurants?
For 7 years now. So I think we started here in Finland 6 years ago, must be in Finland, 1 year earlier in Germany. Meanwhile, they sell it to all over the world with a lot of success. And not only to the professionals, as Rene said, also to the private clients who can use it on their own and make their own special steak with a typical dry age flavor.
Okay, so what is happening in the dry aging world right now, and what are the new things, and what are everybody doing right now?
Well, obviously, the beef is already kind of the first thing, what is the most common thing. I think that what's happening in Finland is that pork is coming into the radar as well quite a lot. But then the fish is something what I think that in Finland might be quite big thing. It's been in Europe, it's already quite big thing, and then cheeses. There are endless possibilities with these cabins.
Yes, as you said, fish will be the next big thing. Beef, of course, will be only a part of its own, together with the pork, which comes out very good. Dry-aged pork is a very nutty, has a very intense flavor. Fish, the next thing. Cheese, especially when it comes to Netherlands, Italy, these countries. All the products from the charcuterie, ham, whole leg hams, salamis. In Finland, they call it medvurstli.
Medvurstli, yes.
All these things are a really big thing. And yesterday I got a call from a very famous vegetarian chef who will use the dry ager also for his vegetables to keep them longer fresh. So there are really, as you said, endless possibilities to pick up the whole world of food to a new level when it comes to flavor and to get more taste over this. Because what the dry ager does is reducing the water, put the water out, and this will always gives you an intense flavor. It's like when you collect mushrooms and when you dry them, they have much more flavor in it. They are much more aromatic, and this happens to all the other meat which we put in the dry ager as well.
Okay, so this is a fun question. That if you had one thing that you would put to the dry ager for the rest of your life, what is the thing? What is superior to the everything else?
You go first, Ronny.
If I only could use the dry ager for one thing, in my case, it would of course be a piece of whole leg ham, because you can eat it to every occasion. You can eat it for a dessert, for breakfast, for dinner. You can eat it with some sweets. You can eat it with some spice. So that would be what I would use it, of course.
Well, me as a beef guy, probably that piece.
Okay. It's a hard decision. Hard decision, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so what is the future of dry aging, and what are the things that are coming and you guys are thinking about, not me, but you? And so where is the dry aging world going?
Okay, with the new dry age models, as we have here, the Premium S with the smart aging, so the state of the art at this time is the smart aging, which comes with 40 different programs for all kind of meat. So it's not only the beef and it's not only the pork, it's also a game, which is a very, very big section of it. It comes to the vegetables, it comes to the fish, and the programs makes it very easy for the clients, for the customer to use the dry ager, especially for their needs. What will come next, I think maybe in the 2 or 3 years, then we start thinking about using an app or something like that, that you can program the dry ager exactly for your needs. But this is still a little bit of future music. Currently, the smart aging does a lot and makes it very easy for everybody who needs it and who works with it.
Okay, that's good. So there are no new innovations or anything that maybe you guys would do?
Not at the moment.
Okay,
because
so everything is all about the process and how to make it better.
Yes, because
and easier for the final consumer. Because when the private sector comes into this, they are not meat professionals, probably. They are interested in high quality meat and the taste and all that effect. So the smart aging for them, it's a really good way to make it more simple and much more easier to start trying and doing their own products. So I think that is...
yes, they could not make as much mistakes as they could before, because dry aging, and especially when it comes to fresh meat, always needs a big potential of knowledge from the one who's working with the dry ager. And with the smart aging, which is pretty new. It came out in December, so at the beginning of this year. It was in all dry agers. They have a guidance on their hand to show them how to make it, and the dry ager will do it automatically. And additional, the new book about the dry ager Bible, every single step is exactly shown how to make it and what are the hints behind the technology.
Okay, so now let's think about the starting of the dry aging process. How to get started, what meat, how long, and how to do it, regardless of do you use a dry aging cabinet or dry aging bag or something else?
Well, obviously you need a cabinet, then you need a good supplier of meat, for the right type of meat. Now, what we need is fat and bones. So they work as a cover for the meat, protection, and they stop too much evaporation of humidity from the meat. So nice fat cap, marbled meat, which is well fed, so that the basics are like working over there. Then it's easy to start. I would go with the 30 days.
Yes.
That is a sweet spot for the beginner. You get the taste, but it's not anything overwhelming.
Yes, as Rene said, the best kind of natural protection or natural sealing is the fat on the one side and the bones on the other side, which covers the meat, which makes sure it will not dry out too much. And if they use first beef or pork, that's the personal taste. And as he said, 30 days would be very nice to start. As long as the meat is protected, do the fat and do the bones, everything will be fine. And it's a very easy thing for the client.
Okay, so we have talked about this and the thing with the meat. Is it really that important to keep it fresh? And you've said that it's like 12 hours, and after that it should be going in the dry aging process.
Yeah. Yes, once you put fresh meat into a vacuum bag, you get a lactobacillus, which makes the sour touch and a very organic taste into it. And if you want to have the full dry age experience and the typical dry age flavor, you don't have to put it in the vacuum before. You just have to keep it or get it as fresh as possible, put it in the cabinet and just wait 30 days and can enjoy the real piece of dry age meat.
Okay, so how do people get the meat fresh? Do you have to go to a butcher shop and get it there, or is it possible to get it from the stores?
It's better for him to answer this because I know it only from Germany. That's really
but in Germany.
In Germany, we go to the butcher and either they do pre-order it, or some of the butchers, they all have it in stock, and you can select one piece of loin or one piece of meat which you would like to have.
Because in Finland it's not that easy.
It's not that easy. There is few, like obviously we do it because we know that that's kind of, it's a key. So that's why we do it. Obviously there is some hygiene issues that needs to be addressed. So it's not that simple. And that's why I understand that many kind of people in the trade are not that interested in going to that. That it's easier to vacuum wrap it, so it's hygienic and it's peace of mind kind of. But for the best results, we have to kind of get it available for every customer, and we just need to figure it out, logistics and all that, in a way that the final product is kind of it's going to the customer in the right manner. And we can do it, we can do it. And they always say that everybody should know at least one good butcher. So
yes, life goal.
Yeah, life goal.
The process of dry aging is like our grandfathers did it. It's a very, very old way, a traditional way for the meat. And as you said, because of the cooling possibilities and the hygienic and all these things, and with the invention of the vacuum, it goes back more and more. And the dry ager brought it forward again, and there's like a renaissance of this old process, which we can now use again. And this really helps a lot of butchers, it helps restaurants, it helps also small companies to get their meat and present it in the right way, I would say.
Yeah.
Something like that, yes.
Definitely, yeah, because it's kind of, my opinion, these cabinets have kind of brought back the respect of the ingredient. We start to value more of the high quality meats.
Yes,
it's not it's not just a small piece in a vacuum bag in a supermarket shelf anymore. It's all about the breeds, it's all about the fat, it's all about how to raise the cattle. So it's kind of brought back the culture of meat culture, food culture in general. So I think they've done
and it's presented in a very exclusive way to show it, to put it on its own place, so everybody who sees it sees, oh, that must be something really special if they put it on a shelf like that with all the lighting, with all the technique, everything. So that's absolutely right.
Yeah, because modern people, they haven't seen necessarily a big chunk of meat with bones and fat and in a roughest way, kind of. But now they can see it again, because in the old times, the meat was hanging in a butcher shop, and you could, I like that one. Yes. You haven't seen that in ages, in Finland especially, but in Europe It's you can still see it, but I think that is what Dry Ager have done to the meat and food culture in general.
They gave back more value to it. Definitely. Yeah.
And I've heard that in the Dry Aging Bible it says that if you haven't tried dry aged meat, then you don't know what the meat should taste like.
Yeah, it's well said.
That's true, yes. One problem is, since the invention of the vacuum bags 30 years ago, we are used to the wrong taste and the wrong aromatics, because everywhere where you would like to buy your steak, your meat, you get the same taste on it, which comes from the vacuum bag. And then having a dry age before your first time is really a wow experience. I was like, wow, I could not imagine how good beef or even pork could smell or could taste without this vacuum bags. That's exactly right, yes.
Yeah, because it intensifies the flavor. So now you can get all the variabilities of grass-fed, grain-fed. Then you start to get the nuances in there, because every meat tastes a little bit different depending how it's been fed, what is the breed, and so on. So with the Dry Ager, that all intensifies.
Yes, and we have all the oxygen on the surface of the piece of meat, which makes for a different taste on the fat as well, because the fat has the oxidation with the oxygen, and this gives the special flavor to it, which in the vacuum bag you didn't just have on the meat.
Okay, so after the dry aging process, how long can you keep the meat fresh? Like if you cut it in the steaks and vacuum bag it, so how long does it stay edible, and can you freeze it or anything else?
If you put it in the refrigerator or just put it in the Dry Ager for 2, maybe 3 weeks, and if you put it in the freezer for up to 2 years without any loss of quality, that's absolutely not a problem.
It's about 2 weeks, yeah. What I put, of course, every kind of everybody kind of puts their own best before dates, but in general, what I've seen, it's 2-3 weeks. Slightly depending if it's bone in or bone out. So with the bone, there is always risk of puncture, so they tend to be a little bit shorter, and the boneless pieces are 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah.
General. But with the smart aging, there is this how it was called, the program that you can actually put
presentation
mode. Yes. That is really amazing, because you can basically prep out all the meat, put in ready steaks, and then leave it back over there and put the presentation mode, and it keeps well 1 week.
I think about 10 days.
10 days. So that is really nice. You can have all the steaks ready over there, and then just take it or let your customer choose what to have. So that is
a really good thing, especially for shops or for restaurants, because the steaks are ready made in the Dry Ager, and the customers say, I like this one for dinner, and this one I take with me. Also, that's really a very cool thing, yes.
Okay, so there's the benefit also about the surface of the steaks drying, so you can get better sear on those steaks.
Yeah. You get more of the structural kind of differences.
Okay, this was absolutely fantastic. So thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. It was a pleasure. Thanks.